This is my Big Agnes Bunk House 6-person tent, and in this video, I'll be showing you not only what's in the box, but also how to set up the entire tent and then pack it away back into the carry bag. Out of the box, this is what I got: the tent body, the rain flag where all 8 guidelines are pre-attached to, the carry bag that everything came in, some instructions for setting up the tent, 2 tent poles. On the longer pole, I found a pole repair splint as well, and I also got 10 stakes. To set up this tent, first grab 4 of the stakes that were provided, spread the tent body out, and then stake down the 4 corners of the tent using the webbing loops at each corner. I highly recommend doing this because it makes the pole setup so much easier. Another tip here is to look out for the 2 doors and use that to orientate the tent. The one with the orange logo by the side is usually the front door. Next, grab the pole set with more pole segments. This is the main tent pole. Assemble it over the tent body and make sure to orientate it properly using the instructions I'll give you right now. This is what it should look like. There are 2 short ends here which are to go over the 2 doors. The pole also has 4 longer ends which are to go into the 4 corner grommets of the tent. Take note that these are also color coded, so make sure it matches the webbing in each corner. This corner here is white to white. This corner here is orange to orange. That side is both white and that is both orange. Now go to one corner of the tent, any corner is fine, and insert the pole tip there into the grommet in that corner. Then go to the other corner along that same length and secure the pole tip there as well. Take note that the webbing near the front door has 2 grommets. You should use the inner one for this pole, and the outer one is for the vestibule pole later. So this is what it should look like. Once the pole tips at one length are secured, go to your 3rd corner. This is the toughest one. Just push the pole away from you, slowly and gently. Keep pushing until you can get this corner secured. Then just pick up the last corner, push against it as well until you can get this secured too. Next, unzip the doors, step inside the tent through the open doors, and look for these pole clips that are attached only to the yellow mesh of the tent. These are the top clips to go onto the top ridge pole. There are 3 clips for this ridge pole. Once the top clips are done, this makes securing the rest of the pole clips much easier, and there are 3 of them for each side of each pole. After that, locate the transparent ball cap on each width of the tent. These are above each door, and secure it to the pole tip on each end of the ridge pole. Now, if you unzip the doors to secure the pole clips like I did, zip them back up and restake the 4 corners of the tent body, because now we're done with that. The next step is the rain fly, and it helps to spread it out over the ground. The buckles at the corners of the rain fly are color coded, white for the back of the tent and orange for the front. Grab one of the corners. I grabbed the white one on the left. Then I just lifted my hand up as high as possible to get the rain fly over the ridge pole, and I just pulled the entire fly while walking over to the other side of the tent. That's how I would drape it over. Then spread out the fly over the tent and make sure the color of the rain fly buckles match the color of the tent buckles. Another way to check is to make sure the vestibules, which are like this off yellow color, are over the doors of the tent and the Big Agnes logo is on the length. Next, secure the buckles at the 4 corners of the tent, but make sure they're completely loosened. We'll tighten them in a bit, but not now. Once the buckles are secured, unzip one of the vestibules first and go inside it. Near the transparent ball cap, you will find this black pole pocket on the underside of the rain fly. Secure it onto the ball cap like so. Go to the other vestibule and do the same thing. First, unzip it, then go inside. Locate the black pole pocket and pull it onto the ball cap. Both pockets come with finger grips for you to slip your finger into, and this makes it easier to pull it onto the ball cap. After the ball caps are secured, go back inside each vestibule and attach the Velcro wraps on the underside of the rainfly to the nearest pole segment. These wraps are white in color, and there are 2 wraps on each side of each pole, so altogether you've got 8 to secure. When the ball caps and Velcro wraps are all secured, it's time to tighten the buckles at the 4 corners to make the rainfly taut. To do so, pull down on the rainfly with one hand and pull on the end of the webbing to tighten. Now it's time for the second pull. This is the vestibule pull. Sleeve it into the pole sleeve at the front of the tent like this. The ends of this pole are to be secured into the extra grommet we saw in the beginning of this video. There's extra grommets on both sides of the vestibule. Secure one end of the vestibule pole into the first corner. Then go to the second corner, push the pole away from you. The vestibule will rise and take shape. Do so until you can fit the pole tip into the other corner there. Next, attach the 2 pole clips to the vestibule pole. There's one on each side of this pole. Now, grab 4 more stakes and stake down the 2 vestibules, 2 stakes for each vestibule. The front vestibule has 2 webbing loops on each side. You can use either, but I usually use the outer one. At this point, we're left with only 2 provided stakes, but we have a total of 8 guy lines, so do buy an additional 6 stakes if you need to. On each length of the tent, we have 1 forked guy line here, 1 short guy line to pull the length of the rainfly away from the tent body, and another forked guy line here. The same goes for the other side. And at the front, we have 2 guy lines for making the vestibule stable, and that's your tent fully set up. Taking down the Big Agnes tent is just the opposite of the setup, but if you have trouble getting it back into the bag, here are a few tips that might help you. Before folding the tent, unzip the bottom of each door so that it's easier to squeeze the air out. Then first fold the tent body in half. Place the carry bag beside it, fold the tent body in half again, then another half. So basically I'm folding it in 4ths, and this gets the folded tent short enough to fit back into the carry bag widthwise. As for the rainfly, just spread it out over the ground first, and then just keep folding it in half while tucking the guy lines back in, until it gets small enough to fit on top of the tent you've just folded down. Place it on top, gently squeeze the air out, and then place the vestibule pole on top of everything. There's a pole pocket inside the carry bag for you to store the poles, but I actually like to use them to roll out the air from the tent body and the rainfly. Now, this is where the pole pocket in the carry bag is. I use it to store only the more bulky hub pole, not the vestibule pole. There's also another pocket here. This is a smaller zippered pocket, and I use it to store the stakes. You can put your guy lines in there as well, because there's more than enough space. Tuck the rolled up tent body and rainfly into the carry bag. It will go back in no problem at all. Zip it up and you're good to go. For a full review of this Big Agnes Bunk House 6, do check out this video on screen for way more tests and details. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in that one.